their name. On the radio, talk shows, and TV, you hear one thing again and again. How the USA stands for freedom, and how we come to the aid of a friend. Well, who are these ones we call?
Richie Havens, Lives in the Balance, here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. We're broadcasting on over 700 stations on Pacifica and NPR and low-power FM and college and community stations, on public access TV and PBS TV stations, and both TV satellite networks, Dish Network Channel 9415, Free Speech TV 9410, Link TV, Direct TV Channel 375, and we're video and audio podcasting at democracynow.org. Our headlines are also available in Spanish for any radio station to take in audio form and in transcript form on our website, democracynow.org. We turn now to Shenandoah Valley in Pennsylvania. Luis Ramirez was a 25-year-old Mexican immigrant who was beaten to death last week by a group of teenagers in Shenandoah, Pennsylvania. He was walking home last Monday night when 6 white high school students brutally beat him while yelling racial slurs. When one of the Ramirez friends tried to stop the beating, one of the teenagers said, "Tell your Mexican friends to get out of town or you'll be laying next to him." Despite eyewitness testimony, no charges have been filed as yet. Ramirez came to the United States 6 years ago. He was the father of 2 children. He was engaged to Crystal Dillman, who grew up in Shenandoah. We called the district attorney investigating the case, but he declined to join us on the program and said he had no comment. I'm joined right now by Arielle Garcia, a friend of the couple who was an eyewitness to the attack on Luis Ramirez. She's a high school senior in Shenandoah. We welcome you, Arielle, to Democracy Now!
Hi, thank you.
It's good to have you with us. How old are you?
I'm 17.
And what year are you in high school?
I'm a senior.
Can you tell us what happened, not this past Monday night, but the Monday before that? What happened to Luis Ramirez? Where were you?
He was at our house all day that afternoon, and it was around maybe 11 o'clock. He asked us to take him uptown to drop him off, whatever. He was going to go home. So we leave him at the Vine Street Park, and we drive away, Victor and I. And about 2 minutes later, he called us and told us to come back, that people were beating him up. So we get back as fast as we could, and when we get there, he was, like, the fight was over, like the boys were walking away, but they were still screaming, like, racial slurs, like, go back to Mexico. And so Victor and I ran up to Luis, and we said, what happened? But he was so mad. He wasn't really talking to us, and those kids kept yelling stuff, and he went back, and the kids turned around, and the fight started again. So Victor, my husband, tried to like stop the fight. He tried to get the kids off of Luis, but kids were trying to fight my husband. So my husband got the kids off of him, and we couldn't stop the fight between Luis and but next thing we know, Luis was on the floor. And so me and Victor, we ran up to his side, and we were at his side. We're trying to wake him up, and the kids are still, like, kicking him. And somebody, I don't know who, but they kicked him, like, in the left side of his head so hard that that's what killed him.
Now, where were you and your husband exactly as this part of the fight took place?
We were right by him on the floor. We were, like, kneeling by his side trying to wake him up when they kicked him.
Did you know his attackers?
Yeah, they're in my class.
How many were there?
6 or 7.
You knew all of them?
Yeah.
Can you name them?
I don't think I'm allowed to name them. I'm sorry.
Did you tell the police who they were?
Yes.
And what did the police say? Did the police show up that night?
Yeah, they showed up. First the ambulance did, and they took our friend to the hospital. And about 5 minutes later, the police came. And I guess they were looking at me. We kept telling them where the kids ran, but they didn't run towards there. I mean, they kind of stayed where it all happened, and I told them the names and everything.
And well, this was more than a week ago. Have they been investigating since?
Yeah, and, like, still nothing.
Why did they say, when you showed them the direction that the kids had run, why did they not go after them at the time?
I don't know. They told me that it wasn't their priority right now.
What do you mean their priority?
Yeah.
Where was your friend at this point? Where was Luis Ramirez?
He was gone. He was in the on his way to be life-flighted.
What was their priority? Did they say that to you?
No, they were pretty rude. Some of them, not all of them, but most of them were pretty rude to me.
What do you mean they were rude?
Like, I told them where the kids ran, and they wouldn't go after them, and they told me that somebody said there was someone with a gun here, and we have to search your car, and they searched Victor, like, they put his hand behind his back, and, like, they put him
Victor is your husband?
Yes.
The boys ran off. Was it all boys?
Yeah.
Were they white? Were they Mexican? Yeah. Were they?
They were all white.
All white. And you know them all?
Uh-huh.
Have you seen them in school, or school is out, so you haven't seen them since?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen them. I mean, one of the kids, he was just, like, playing.
If you can talk as loud as you can, Arielle. It's a little hard to hear you because of the crackling of the phone. Speak right into the phone.
Okay. Yeah, we have seen one of the guys, recently. We saw him in the backyard of his house playing as if, like nothing happened. That kind of frustrates us because our friend's dead, and these kids are, like, living life. It just frustrates me that they can live without feeling guilty or anything. I just hope that the correct charges are pressed against them.
Did you speak to any of these kids since you knew them, in the midst of the fight or afterwards? Did they say anything to you?
Yes, after the fight, I ran after one of them, and I said, "Hey," I said, "what did you do this to? Why did you do this to my friend? You killed him." And he said, "No, I didn't kill him. He's still breathing." And I said, "Well," and I smell alcohol, and I said, "Oh, you're drinking?" And he said, "Yes." And he said, "Don't say our names. I'm out of here." And he ran.
He said, "Don't say our names."
He said, yeah, he said that.
Do you know why they attacked Luis?
Do I know? No, I mean, Victor and I weren't there when it all started. But like I said, when we got there, it was all racial, everything.
What do you mean it was racial?
They were screaming racial, like, "Get out of here, Mexican," or whatever, "Go back to where you came from." I mean, they were saying bad stuff that I can't say over the phone.
We're showing pictures right now for our radio listeners. You can go on our website at democracynow.org to see pictures of Crystal, Luis Ramirez's fiancée, and pictures of Luis as well and their children. So they were shouting racial epithets. They were. What is the atmosphere in Shenandoah? What is the attitude to Mexican immigrants?
I think it's most of the time it's okay, but there are times when there are racial slurs. I mean, with my husband, I've been with him 4 years, and I'm telling you, there are many times that I've heard people scream racial slurs to him. Like, I was pregnant with my son, and they told me, "What's that in your belly? Another person I'm gonna have to pay for? Another Mexican on welfare?" Like, stuff like that. It's disgusting.
What do you want to see happen in this case? And how is Crystal? How is Crystal Dillman, Luis's fiancée and mother of his kids?
She's doing okay. She's pretty upset, and she's frustrated that nothing has been done yet. She wants justice for her family, and we do too. We want justice for our friend. I feel like that wasn't his time to die. I feel like those kids should be treated as adults in this case. They should be treated as adults that committed a homicide. I don't understand what's being put off here.
Luis's body has been sent back to Mexico?
Yes.
To his family?
Yes.
What has been his family's reaction, and where does he come from in Mexico?
I don't know the town. I don't know. It begins with a G, but his body was sent back to his mother, and when she found out, she was hysterical. I mean, Crystal told me that she was screaming on the phone, and she didn't know, she didn't understand, and she didn't want to believe it. And he's arriving there today, actually. He'll be in Mexico City, and they will be sending him back to where his home city was.
Well, I want to thank you, Arielle, for joining us. Are you at all afraid of speaking out?
Am I Afraid of what?
Speaking out?
No.
Well, thank you for joining us. We'll continue to investigate and follow this case. Arielle Garcia is a friend of Luis Ramirez. She witnessed the beating 2 Monday nights ago that led to his death. Arielle Garcia knows the people who killed Luis Ramirez. They're her classmates in high school. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. As we turn